All right, welcome everyone for another week of MRC GT7 Racing League. We are today at Watkins Glen for round number 12. This is a GR3 race. We did a 15-minute sprint qualifying session before this, and we are about to get into the 60-minute main race. Now let's take a quick look at the points going into this race. We got a bit of a three-way battle going into this. We got Quasi on top with 247 points. Big Blind in second with 235, so 12 points behind. It's pretty close, but Quasi does have a bit of a gap there. And then myself in third with 232, only 3 points off of Big Blind. Then we got Fetz in fourth with 150, Guitar in fifth with 136, Slammed in sixth with 129, Tricky in seventh with 83, Trickmobile in eighth with 67, Izzy in ninth with 57, Racing Visitor in 10th with 50, Crazy in 11th with 37, Craig in 12th with 32, Mikey in 13th with 23, and with Phoenix in 14th with 13, and Temp in 15th with 1 point. Now let's take a look at the Nations and Manufacturers Cup going into this. USA on top with 667 points. Canada with 639. Pretty close behind for having almost half the amount of starts. Norway in third with 150 points. And Australia in fourth with 50. And for the Manufacturers Cup, Porsche still out front and strong. 415 points. For Porsche, Nissan in second with 234, BMW in third with 184, Ford in fourth with 144, Toyota in fifth with 115, Audi in sixth with 64, Mercedes in seventh with 41, Subaru in eighth with 11, and Honda in ninth with 1 point. Out of the way, let's take a look at the qualifying order going into the race. So we had a 15-minute sprint race, reverse grid order. So because I won last week, I had to start last. Unfortunately, I got disconnected in the sprint race, and so I qualified last. So I'm in ninth. Tricky Potato also quit that race, so he's starting 8th. Crazy in 7th. Slammed starting 6th. Guitar starting 5th. Racing Visitor starting 4th. Trickmobile, another good qualifying for him, starting 3rd, with Quasi in 2nd and Big Blind in 1st. Those guys started 2nd last and 3rd last, respectively, and found themselves all the way up into the 1st and 2nd position. Let's get into this main race. I am joined here with Guitar.
Hello, 11D. Excited for this one. We got a tight championship battle heading into this race, so let's go bowling at the Glen, as they say.
Got those posters up all over this track. All right, let's get into this. 3, 2, 1, and away we go. Quasi with a bit better of a start than Big Blind.
Yeah, taking the early lead into the first corner.
Quasi getting ahead.
Ooh,
Oh, looks like we're going 3 wide almost back there. Almost 4 wide. Trickmobile holding onto that position.
It's going to be a close one heading into the bus stop chicane. It could be very chaotic.
Trickmobile has that inside, but you got a bit of a run.
Yeah, the Supra, the great top speed.
Oh, and who's that? That's Racing Visitor going a little bit wide. Oh, Trickmobile going a little bit wide as well. Oh, and he's spins and losing it. That's a shame. He's now back with Racing Visitor. Looks like I got myself a half-second penalty. So did Slammed. Tricky went a little wide. Oh, and I find that inside.
Getting tangled.
Able to take that position.
Crazy struggling as well. Yeah, a bit of a chaotic bus stop chicane there. But close battle here at the front.
Big Blind right behind Quasi. Quasi able to hold on to it. Big Blind needs this win if he wants to be challenging in next week's race.
Yep, and of course we went into this race with the sprint qualifying. Earlier we had a reverse grid sprint race, so some extra points on the table this week, and some drivers like Racing Visitor had a very good sprint race, got some good points, but just unfortunate here. He's in the first lap. He got a little bit tangled up, went off the track, and lost out in some positions, but still a lot of race ahead of us.
Of course. Let's take a quick rundown. The lap 2. So we got Quasi out front, able to get that jump on Big Blind. Big Blind in second. Guitar sitting in third. He had a pretty good start. Tricky in fourth. Myself up to fifth. Now with a 1 second penalty. Now that one's gonna hurt. We got slammed in sixth. Oh, what's this? Racing Visitor going for another little spin. Is having trouble with this bus stop here. He had trouble in the first lap as well. So Trickmobile now in seventh. Racing Visitor in 8th, and Crazy in 9th. Quite a bit away. Not entirely sure how got that far behind. I'm battling here with Tricky, but of course I got a 1 second penalty. That's not going to help me. Is that going to put Slammed? He might get that position back, and he does. So Slammed up into 5th now.
Yeah, those penalties are really costly. You always lose a bit more time than advertised.
Yeah, absolutely. It's probably about double.
So Trickmobile, he's back in 7th, but he had pretty good pace, I would say, the whole day. So we'll see what he can do.
Absolutely.
As you said, a lot of race to go. Yeah, he's been on, I would say, a run of form lately.
Quick look at these guys up top again. Guitar going a little wide there. Is he going to pick up a penalty? And he does. That dreaded 1 second,
it's a
man.
1 second. Yeah, that one's tough.
That was hurt. So Quasi actually getting a bit of a gap to Big Blind now. GTR seems to be working. I thought this was going to be a Porsche track going into this. But it seemed a bit even.
Well, a lot of...
Guitar going a little off the racing line there as well. Is that going to add? It does, 1.5. Oh no.
Yeah, that was probably my worst lap of the race. Ooh, got a close battle here.
Slammed holding on to the inside. I'm trying to take it around the outside. We're Slammed holding on to that position. Uh-oh, who is that? Oh, Guitar. That's no good. 3rd to 6th.
Trickmobile also serving a penalty there.
Oh, Tricky going a little bit wide. He's going to lose that position to Slammed. As I try the outside. Oh, we both get a little bit loose. But I'm able to get that position. Slammed up into 3rd now.
Yeah, it's been a common theme with him lately. He seems to have some really solid starts.
Absolutely.
He's on the softs as well, so probably a smart call by him.
Let's see if I can get a run on this straight. Oh, Slam goes a bit wide. I might get side by side going onto the straight. This isn't exactly how you'd want to go because you're not going to have the slipstream, but I am able to take that inside line and get that position done. He might be able to come back though.
He tucks in, get the slipstream.
Right behind. Oh, a little bit of a push, but not going for the position. In fact, he goes a little bit wide. He's gonna miss the last part of that chicane, and he might get himself a penalty for that as well. And he does. Trick Potato right behind. He's probably gonna lose that position when it comes to the penalty line. As Tricky actually dives to the inside.
Nice little move there.
Tricky moving back up into 4th.
I'd say this is definitely one of the easier tracks to pick up penalties.
Oh, it certainly is.
A number of spots where it's really easy to drift wide or cut a little corner and get a half-second penalty.
Now, is that going to put him into your attacking position? It looks like, oh, you take a look for the inside. Oh, but Slam goes a little bit wide and leaves that door open and
You know what that was there? I did
take
a
it.
little fake out on him. I thought he was
Ah,
gonna
the
bite,
fake
but he
out,
didn't.
eh? Oh, he did. He left the inside open. So you move back up into 5th, slammed into 6th. Trickmobile in 7th, Racing Visitor in 9th, and Crazy down. Sorry, Racing Visitor in 8th, Crazy down in 9th. Let's take a quick look at what tires everyone on. Quasi is on the mediums, so is Big Blind and myself. Trick Potato also on the mediums. You are on the softs, and I believe Slammed was as well. So you two on the softs, battling it out. Trickmobile on the hards. Interesting choice, getting that out of the way early. Racing Visitor on the softs, and Crazy on the hards. Now I think Crazy might have already pit on the first
No, he's
lap.
on the hards. He's on the hards. I think he just struggled early on. I think he crashed or spun out and yeah, just didn't have a
Oh,
good
yellow flag.
race.
Who was that for? I think it might have been for Slammed. Didn't entirely see what that was about. I think Crazy's going to the pits now.
He is pitting, yeah.
This is invisible car.
I think he just wanted to get those hards out of the way and be done with them. Don't blame him. But yeah, I think it's interesting. The two leaders here both started on the mediums and found a way to avoid some of the incidents that we saw on lap 1. So they're going to put themselves in a pretty good position here. It looks like they're kind of far and away the two guys. The only two who are really going to be fighting for the win here, unless either of them makes a major mistake.
Yeah, starting last definitely didn't help my my chances here, as there's a pretty decent gap to these guys out front. Quasi going a little bit wide.
Which,
He might pick up a penalty.
Just for some context, since we didn't show the sprint race, I believe what happened was you disconnected, right? Is that?
Yeah, I don't know if it was internet or I think the game just crashed, but yeah, I got DNF'd in the sprint race after a pretty good start. So
Yeah, I remember your. I believe you left the party as well, so it might have been an internet issue.
I had to leave the party because nothing was loading, or like the whole PlayStation was just I couldn't do anything. I had to turn off the PlayStation.
Okay. Yeah, I've had that happen before. It's a very strange.
Because it was weird because I could still hear you guys, but you guys couldn't hear me.
You just couldn't move around.
Yeah.
In your menu. Yeah, I've had that happen before, and it's really can't explain it, but
Yeah.
one of the quirks of the PlayStation.
You got Quasi and Big Blind already coming up on some lap traffic. It's that early stop for Crazy.
Yeah, I believe Crazy didn't really have much time to practice for this race. Kind of went in cold.
Yeah.
And yeah, just didn't really have the ability to fight. And I believe you'll see, soon he kind of just throws in the towel at some point and quits. But don't really blame him. It's just not a good race.
Yeah. Big Blind pretty close behind Quasi. As Quasi picks up the penalty, side by side, going onto the back straight.
Ooh, but Quasi's really giving him a hard time. And
as Big Blind finds that position.
Big Blind's going to have the lead, and he's going to be able to build a little bit of a gap now if he drives well enough. The penalty is going to really help him a lot. But you can see we're only about 11 minutes in, but those mediums are already looking quite worn.
Yeah, the mediums really didn't last a whole lot longer than the softs. They weren't the tire to be on it. And in all honesty, I think the hards might have been the best tire. As Crazy goes a little bit too deep into the corner and finds himself stuck on the barrier.
just trying to let the leaders through, kind of parked it there, but
Quasi takes that penalty and
kind of overboarded. They penalized him for that as well. I think we should have a word with the stewards.
yeah, I don't know who's in charge of that, but they gotta step their game up. Alright, let's take a look what's going on back here. Trickmobile on the back of Tricky Potato now. Slammed down into 7th.
Slam pit. You see his tires?
I don't think Slam pit. No, not yet.
No,
still on the softs.
But you can see those softs are really almost completely gone.
It's tricky on the mediums, and those mediums are probably starting to feel some loss of grip. It's tricky, or it's Trickmobile
especially
on the
with
hards.
that car.
Yeah,
Audi, bit of a handful, but yeah, Trickmobile is looking like he's
probably on the better tire at this point
right now. But he's also really, I would say, having pretty good pace at the moment. I mean, he's on those hards, but he was, I think, back in 7th or 8th earlier. So applying the pressure and definitely trying to take advantage of other drivers' mistakes.
Might look for the outside here. He's not taking that slipstream though. Oh, but he is going to send it a little bit deep, but he holds up and they keep it clean. Some good racing there, but it's just showing he's putting that pressure on Tricky Potato, trying to force him into a mistake. Oh, his Trickmobile goes a little bit wide. That might get himself a penalty. And a little wide again. It looks like he's been safe for the penalty so far.
Yeah, I don't think he was off the track. I think he was just using a little bit extra curb. But yeah, doing pretty well in those hards.
Yeah, well, like I said, I actually thought the hards are probably the tire to be on for this race, because the mediums fell off almost as quickly as the softs, and the hards, you know, you're still able to do half decent lap times. Trickmobile still close behind Tricky Potato. We got the Tricksters out back here battling it out for a couple laps. Trickmobile on the inside of the penultimate turn. Doesn't get the move done yet as Guitar comes in to get off those softs.
Slammed also in the pits.
Trickmobile, oh no, some contact. As Trickmobile finds himself on the barrier. Like a racing incident to me though. Trickmobile trying to find that inside, and just a little bit of side-by-side action. Just
I think we should
got
take
the car a little bit loose.
Another look at that one.
A little quick action replay. Tricky Potato goes a little bit deep and trying to get back onto the racing line without getting a penalty, and it just, let's take another quick look from
a
the
little
outside.
Bit of contact unintentionally.
So Tricky Potato on those worn out mediums try to get, it looks like he got a little bit loose on the curb actually, and it just, and the rear end just slid a little bit to the right, knocking the front end of Trickmobile, and then just put Trickmobile's car into that wall.
Yeah, such a minor tap, but
it can,
that's how this game is sometimes.
Big consequences.
Yeah, Trickmobile's gotta just put his head down, recover from that. I mean, luckily it's not the worst incident.
No, kept the car straight. He only lost maybe a second or two on Tricky, and he should be able to make that back up, and the battle should continue. But Tricky Potato might be looking to get off those tires soon. Trickmobile still good on the hards, but he is gonna have to pit for fuel as well. As Slammed is now coming out of the pits, putting the mediums on. And you put the hards on. Interesting, interesting.
Yeah, I think at this point I was just trying to see how long I could go. But do a bit of a longer stint because I started on the softs. And yeah, the hards just didn't seem as bad as I thought. So I was a little bit whoa, a little loose there. My strategy was kind of um, random. I was kind of making it up on the fly, so
Yeah.
I just
Sometimes that's just
figured
what
why
you gotta
not?
do.
I'll put the hards on, and if they're good, then I'll stay out, and if they're not, then I'll come back in and put something else on. Trickmobile went a
Racing
little bit
visitor
wide there.
into the
Let's see.
pits. Is he gonna pick up a penalty for it?
Looks like
Looks
he kept it
safe so
clean. All right.
far. Yeah. Penalties are weird here. Like sometimes you can just cross over the white line just by like an inch and you pick up a penalty. Sometimes
Yeah, I think it's if you have all four tires over the line, then you're guaranteed to get the penalty. But sometimes you can just kind of put a tire or two over and get lucky.
you can see how much more Trickmobile is able to catch up to Tricky. As these guys are at the end of their stints though.
Ooh, that right. I mean, that left rear is just
Oh,
completely
it's Tricky
gone.
getting a little loose. Oh, and that's gonna allow Trickmobile slide up into that 4th position. As Big Blind, first of the front runners to come in off these mediums. Quasi, myself stay out. Trickmobile. Looks like he's coming into the pits as well. Same with Tricky Potato.
So
So these
we
guys.
will resume this battle in a little bit once they come out. The Quasi right now in the lead, and you've moved up into second.
Yes, but of course I'm gonna have to pit this lap as well.
And let's see, Quasi. Quasi's got a bit more
Yeah,
fuel
Quasi.
now.
That GTR seems to be pretty good on.
The GTR is
On
pretty good on fuel. I do wonder if though he's been, playing around with his engine modes. But
Whoa! Okay.
right, yeah, the game is hallucinating here. It seems to happen all the time.
Yeah,
when we
with
check
Quasi
in
for
on
some
Quasi.
reason. Yeah.
It looks like he's about to commit
Just
suicide, but
flying
then
in. As he comes in this time, he does. So Quasi into the pits. Myself running on fumes. In as well. So Big Blind. He was leading at the start of these stops. We'll see where he comes out after this.
Yeah, you really were running on fumes. So it looks like all of the drivers have pitted now, I believe.
I think so, yeah. First round of stops are done. So Quasi's on his way out now. Oh, that's Big Blind.
Push the lead.
Coming out of the pits. It's gonna be close. Oh, it's gonna hold Quasi. It's always so slow coming out of there. So Big Blind holding on to that lead. Quasi behind. Myself just coming out now, so pretty big gap to me.
Yeah, it looks like the undercut worked well there. I believe Quasi also had to put more fuel.
Probably because you went a lap extra, but that is gonna
Yeah.
give him a bit more fuel at the end of this stint.
Yeah, the fuel situation. It's definitely another layer to keep in mind when you're deciding on going for the undercut or the overcut.
Trickmobile on the back of Slam now. Slammed able to find himself up into 5th. Now I believe Slam pit a bit early. Oh, but Slam goes wide and allows Trickmobile just to slide on through and take that position. Because Slammed is already quite a bit behind on fuel, so I think he pit a couple laps early. And that undercut did seem to work for track position because he found himself up into 5th, but he is going to have to pit earlier at the end of this stint, and that might make him have to stretch out his last stint even more.
Yeah, and also the Mustang it's not the best car in fuel. It's not horrible, but it's definitely not as good as some of these other ones like the Porsche and the Nissan.
Absolutely. We're getting close to that wall there. Once you find yourself with a penalty.
So it looks like cars are a little bit more spread out now. Everyone's kind of settling into their own race, different strategies.
Yeah, not too many on-track battles. Plus we got might be tricky and slammed. Oh, as Tricky goes a little bit
Oh,
wide, finds himself into that barrier. That's gonna leave Slammed a little bit. Slammed also has some damage, or is that just... No, it looks like Slammed got some damage as well, so I'm not entirely sure where that came from. But that front and right tire is hurting.
yeah. I mean, just you feel bad for Tricky. He's really been struggling to rein in this the Audi R8.
Yeah. So... This game has to have something against Audi because they've nerfed this car to a point where it's just so hard to use, and especially hard to race with.
Yeah, especially on this sort of twisty section of this track. It's definitely not the ideal car to have.
Oh, it looks like Trickmobile is starting to catch you. Now you are on the hards now, and Trickmobile is on the mediums, and Trickmobile has already gotten his hardstint out of the way, so he's able to take either mediums to the end or a set of softs to the end.
Yeah, Trickmobile's been definitely improving, and I would say the last couple of races have had some good battles with him. So
Yeah,
it's
absolutely.
great to see.
Let's take a look at his lap times. 147.8, 147.4, and you did a 49.0 and a 55, or 50.5, I should say. So about 2 seconds a lap faster.
If you go back to Trickmobile, I just noticed he has 7,800 kilometers in that Porsche, so definitely
Oh yeah, he's been
quite a
practicing.
fan.
You got 1600 in the Supra. I got 48 on the BMW. Quasi's only got 25 on the GTR. And look at this. 20,000 kilometers on the Porsche. Now, considering this game has only been out for, a year and a bit, maybe a year and a quarter, 20,000 kilometers in a year. Like, that's, some people
That's
do that
I
in
would
their
say,
cars.
yeah, that's more than I'd say most Porsche owners put in
Oh,
in a
yeah,
year in their real
absolutely.
cars. So
Yeah.
I mean, there's probably a lot of Porsches out there that don't even have 20,000
In
under
10
across their
years,
whole
yeah.
lifespan. Yeah,
Yeah.
so yeah, it's great to see.
Of course, I mean, you are driving a little bit quicker in these cars in this game. You get those kilometers a little bit faster. But still, that's a lot of practice. That's a lot of time.
It's dedication. Yeah.
I've done about almost 8 months or so of racing, mostly in this M6, and I've only done 48. It's quite a bit. Let's see who else. Slammed has 26 on the Mustang. Racing Wizard has 23. Oh, Tricky. Looks like he might have parked it. And looks like he has left. So we are down to 8 in this race now. And it's a shame that he didn't wait about a minute later, where he would have gotten 50% of the race distance. This Trickmobile right on your heels now.
Should also mention we began this race or this session, not this particular race, but the sprint race. We began it with 10 drivers, and we lost a few drivers along the way.
Yeah.
We had 3 DNFs in the sprint race, which I think is probably a record for us so far.
Probably.
Of course, you disconnected.
Yeah.
And also, Tricky Potato and Fets threw in the towel for different reasons. Fets he's been having some recurring issues with his brake pedal on his wheel setup, and because of that, he decided to not only quit the sprint race but sit out the main race. So he's usually very consistent with his attendance and everything, but yeah, just having some issues that have been plaguing him, and unfortunately, unlike some other racing games, it appears that with Gran Turismo 7 you can't remap your brake pedal to a different pedal. So with some other games like F1, drivers will often decide to use their clutch pedal for braking, but can't do that on Gran Turismo, at least as far as we're aware. So that's currently it's kind of stuck with a half-broken brake pedal, which is not fun.
No.
And that's why he was out of this race.
Hopefully he will be able to get that thing fixed, though.
Yeah, for sure, because he's overall had still a pretty solid season when he's been here and completed races.
We got a bit of a battle going on now. Trickmobile right on your heels. You went a little bit wide. The exit of the last corner. As Trickmobile finds the inside and taking that position. So Trickmobile up into 4th now. And quickly Racing Visitor
Yeah, I think
is taking another pit.
I think at that point I decided to just kind of let him pass me instead of trying to hold him up. Clearly had the better tires, the better pace. So, yeah, he's definitely had a strong recovery race so far. I mean, he was down to, I think, 7th or 8th, up to 4th. So, yeah,
Just
good for
noticing, look how
Trickmobile.
much more fuel Quasi has than Big Blind. It's almost a quarter of a tank more, and he only pit 1 lap after Big Blind.
Yeah. I mean, there could be some fuel saving going on. I don't know if the cars have that much of a disparity in their fuel usage
I don't think
on
that there
full
was,
power.
because I wasn't fuel saving, and Quasi has a bit more than me, but that GTR is a bit better on fuel. But I don't know how Big Blind can possibly use that much, because I don't think the Porsche is that bad on fuel. Let's look at the other. Trickmobile, also quite a bit more fuel, but when did he pit? I think he pit
Maybe
with Big Blind, I believe.
Big Blind didn't take
Oh,
quite
you
a
were
full
very
tank.
low on fuel. So you're gonna have to come in this time, I guess.
Yeah. Well, I did pit a little bit early because I was on softs the first time.
So we still got Big Blind out in the lead. Just past halfway in this race. Quasi in 2nd, myself in 3rd. Trickmobile up into 4th now. Yourself in 5th, but you're going to have to pit now, and that might put you in reach of Slams, who does have a penalty, but is also out of gas. Completely out of gas, it looks like. So he's coasting into the pits. So you two are both pitting. Racing Visitor a bit further behind, but actually might be relatively close by the time you guys get out of your stops here.
Yeah, you can see both me and Slammed were extremely low on fuel.
Yeah, you guys are coming out now. Racing Visitor still has the, so he's gonna be behind.
So it looks like, oh, and Slam goes to the hards. Okay, I was wondering if he had put the hards on yet. So
Slam does go to the hards, but they
still
are
hards.
okay. I was doing some weird stuff with the wear, but yeah, they are new hards.
Yeah, he's on the hards. I put on the mediums. I'm gonna have some better pace here. So right now, Big Blind has a pretty nice lead, but he is going to have to pit in maybe about a lap or two from now. You've been doing 47s, 147s on the hards. That's pretty good. Very competitive
Yeah,
times.
it's Quasi about doing the same. 47.4, 48.4, 47.3.
I think that's about what I was doing on the mediums.
Big blind pretty consistent in the 47s. 47.7, 47.9, 47.3, 47 flat, 47.2. So
It
he's
looks like
getting
slammed was
slammed.
lapped. Yeah.
Let's see, what is the closest battle? There's really no close battles. Everyone is quite spread out now. But, so Slammed has taken his stop, so have you. Trickerville hasn't, I haven't, Quasi hasn't, and Big Blind hasn't. Big Blind not doing too great on fuel at the moment.
So yeah, still some drivers spread out. But like I said, pit stops coming soon. Should make things interesting. Quasi staying out. Go bowling sign.
Do you know what that's for? Do you know what that means?
I must be bowling. I was wondering that. You know, I was just about to look it up.
Maybe it's
I didn't know big bowling was a big
yeah,
had that much money behind them. You know, but apparently
maybe it's a
there's
local franchise of bowling
it must
facilities.
be.
Big Blind very low on fuel. He's got to be in some fuel saving mode right now, because I don't know if that's enough to make this lap. He might be out. It's close.
Yeah, he's cutting it really close.
And I think he's out. So he got relatively close to the line, but he's really coasting now. And Quasi, look how much, almost side by side going into the pits now. We'll see. Quasi has maybe another lap, maybe another 2 laps potentially of fuel in that car. As I come in as well, also on fumes. As Triple also staying out. Probably get another lap in. Still in 5th after that earlier stop. Slammed also good on fuel. Racing Visitor as well. Oh, and looks like we Missed Craig calling it quits as well. Or sorry, not Craig, Josh. Crazy.
Crazy. Yeah.
Crazy.
He had a unfortunate race from the very beginning, just a lot of issues. So I was just getting some word from our producer. He's telling me, giving me some background info. Apparently, Go Bowling is just like, from what I understand, it's just like a sort of industry group, like a marketing group or something that promotes bowling. You can go to their website and find bowling alleys. So yeah, apparently there's some money in big bowling. I didn't know
Big
that.
bowling. Interesting.
Yeah, there's
not
some. It's like a lobby group for. It's like I think is it here? Is this a Canadian thing only? I'm not sure, but you know how there's like Got Milk.
Yeah, yeah.
Like the milk industry, they promote themselves. Seems like it's kind of a similar thing going on.
Interesting. I mean, it makes sense that you would want, as you know, someone is in the bowling business, you would want someone advocating for more people to go bowling as a whole.
Yeah,
But it's not
seems like
something I
there's
ever
some.
thought about. Yeah.
Yeah, but I think bowling, it's kind of maybe not the most trendy activity. So maybe they're trying to revive it, get some more hype, sponsor some racing. Kind of makes sense. But
Yeah. I
yeah,
mean,
it's kind of cool to see. There's some solidarity in the bowling industry. They're trying to attract people back to the bowling
yeah.
alleys.
Personally, I love bowling. I love going. I don't go all that often, maybe once or twice a year, but it's a fun activity to do. As Quasi is coming out of the pits now, and Big Blind is on the final turn onto the straight. It's gonna be close once again, as Quasi might be a bit ahead this time. It's gonna hold him, but is he able to get ahead? I think he is. Quasi taking the lead now. Out of the pits. You guys are probably going to the end. Big Blind with a bit of a run, though. He might be looking to try to take that position.
I wonder how much time Big Blind might have lost just at the end there, that last stint coasting into the pits.
Significant. At least probably 7 or 8 seconds.
So, we'll see what tires is Quasi on right now.
Quasi's on the mediums. Big Blind is also on the mediums. Myself is
It's going
also
to be
on
a
the
medium
mediums.
battle to the end.
Looks like Slammed is still on the hards. Everyone else is on the mediums. So it looks like the closest battle we got is for this lead.
Yeah. Looks like, we might have a little bit of battle at the end for the last podium spot, but it seems like you've kind of done a good job of keeping yourself in P3 for most of the race.
And I haven't been able to catch up. Not as far as I was.
Yeah, well, these guys are definitely going to be getting that slipstream off of each other, so that's going to benefit them.
I think at this point, I was just hoping these guys would battle it out. Maybe have to go too wide through some corners that you don't want to go through too wide, and allow me to catch up even more. Wazy looked like to go a little bit wide there. Definitely all tires on the curb. Looks like no penalties. Now, so these guys probably can go to the end.
Yeah, for sure.
Even a little bit worse on fuel. Trickmobile, 15 minutes left, probably can go to the end. Ooh, you might have another stop in there. Slammed is taking another stop.
I definitely have another stop to go, yeah.
And Racing Visitor also with another stop for sure. So Quasi able to, looks like, hold that gap pretty solid. 46.2 that time by. Big Blind with a 46.9. But myself actually taking the fast lap 2:45.9, so I'm actually catching these guys.
Yeah, a bit of a gap starting to form. But both these drivers in the lead are Quasi and Big Blind. Whoa, he gets a little bit loose.
A little bit loose at the bus stop.
Looking like now it's going to be a very tough task to try to fight for this win. But just as I was about to say, like, I think both these drivers have clearly been the best two drivers on the track today. Just not really making a lot of major mistakes, a couple penalties, but consistency is definitely key.
Absolutely.
But yeah, I definitely think the top four drivers here have all kind of been in a league of their own today. Just very consistent, quick. I can definitely say from my own experience there was some points in this race where I really struggled. So just didn't feel like I had the pace to really fight the top guys.
You have nearly, probably more than half a track length on slammed at this point. You do have another stop slammed. Looks like he has taken his last stop.
Looks like you're making up some ground here to Big Blind.
Certainly am.
Yeah, getting a bit closer.
But you can see, look, Quasi has barely worn those mediums. Big Blind a little bit more. Myself even more. So I was pushing to try to catch up with this group.
Big Blind he's also trying to push as hard as he can. He's kind of out of the slipstream now of Quasi. Quasi's just gotta keep it clean, consistent, and bring home the win. Purple. This is definitely the sector where Big Blind is going to need to make up most of his time.
Ooh. A little bit loose.
Yeah, a little bit of little mistakes here and there for Big Blind. Seems like every time he kind of gets close, he just makes a little mistake, but he sets the fastest lap there. At least for now.
Ooh, and I go wide. That's never good. And it's a 1 second.
That is gonna sting.
That's gonna just unravel all that work I did to try to catch up to these guys.
That's probably gonna feel like more like a 2 second.
Yeah.
It only is. You can see there you were purple through the first sector.
Oh, and I go a little bit deep. Miss the chicane. It's probably gonna add even more. And it does 1.5. And that's
And
pretty much it for me, I think.
so I wonder now, is the strategy to pit, try to go for fastest lap instead?
I could. I mean, Big Blind just took it away from me, but not by much. But yeah, you can.
He's on the mediums though.
Yeah, that's just gonna.
I'm coming to the pits. See, I'm
See how far back
going
I
on to
am
softs. I'm trying to go for fastest lap, sort
now. Oh
of
yeah, see, you put the softs on.
half-heartedly. I definitely didn't have the pace of some of the other guys, so it's gonna be tough to get that fastest lap. But might as well go for it because you have a huge gap to slam, even with that pit stop.
Yeah. Well, yeah, if you're not taking fuel, it really shortens these pit stops. But
Yeah,
I have to
for
worry
sure.
about Tricklemeal though. He's not as far back. He's maybe 15 seconds back or so. See, I crossed the line there. 12. Trickmobile at 30, so about 20 seconds back is Trickmobile. But that's even if you're not taking fuel, stop is probably I've actually never done it before.
I mean, you might be able to try to get a fastest lap here on the mediums. You can see you had a 45.7.
I think
A few
pushing on
laps ago.
these mediums are already kind of cooked. I don't think I'm gonna be able to. Well, you can
Yeah, it
see.
might be.
Look at my last lap, a 150.0. So that 1.5 seconds
Yeah,
cost me
that
about
was with penalties,
4
right?
seconds. Yeah.
Yeah, that's tough. I mean, you might have been able to get fastest lap on that lap if it wasn't for that penalty.
Yeah, but I
Big
think
Blind,
these
he
tires
just
are a bit past their prime now.
he took it from you by a few hundredths of a second.
Yeah. 400ths to be exact. This Big Blind does seem to be getting a little bit closer to Quasi. But you can just see how much Quasi's protecting those mediums. Just really hasn't been pushing. Because now, even if Big Blind gets a chance to try to attack, Quasi's just going to have more grip. Keeping it in the chamber in case he needs it.
As we were talking there, yeah, I think what's the gap looking like to me, to slammed?
Oh, it's closer now.
Yeah, so I think what what happened was I pitted for softs in an attempt to go for fastest lap, and oh, slam gets a penalty there. I'm not really sure where that was from, but um, but yeah, I pitted for softs, and then the gap to slam was still pretty big, and I think he jokingly said to me, "Hey, do you mind stopping again?" And without telling him, I on my outlap I went back into the pits, put another fresh set of softs on.
Some fresher softs, eh?
Yeah,
Just
I
making the race a bit
try
more
to go
interesting.
for try to make it interesting, and
Yeah.
also try to go for fastest lap with some less fuel. I didn't really pay off though, because as you'll see, I just couldn't keep myself from going off the track. So and picking up some penalties. So unfortunate, but I just didn't really have the pace, regardless.
Let's see this fast lap attempt.
I think we should give an extra point to whoever gets the slowest lap of the race.
The slowest lap of the race?
Yeah, because I mean, think about it. It is an award.
The
I mean,
slowest fast lap, or like the actual slowest lap? Like the person with
the actual slowest lap. Because if you're doing like a 5-minute lap, right? Your race is messed up. So I feel like someone should at least get a point for that. You know, or even if they do like a 2-minute 20, I mean, that's... Your race is probably messed up, so I don't mind giving them an extra point.
Are you
I think we
including
should
like the laps
consider
where you pit?
No, but that might make it more complicated. Yeah, we
We
don't
get
want
a
people
little
just sitting in
loose.
the pit lane.
Yeah.
I don't know how we would determine
5/10
that.
up
But
on in your best. Not quite purple yet though.
yeah, I think this might have been a lot where I actually was able to complete it, but wasn't able to get purple all around. So I think I was still about a second off the pace.
See what we can do here. 46 flats.
So not okay. Only 3/10 off actually, but
Yeah.
I think that was my closest attempt. You can see there, that
Oh, a
first
little
corner,
wide.
just the bane of my existence.
And yeah, you're gonna get yourself a penalty. Oh, and I'm coming to the pits. Looks like I'm gonna try to go for that fast lap now. Put on the softs.
I wonder if you'll take any
Splash of
fuel. Yeah, a
fuel,
little
looks
bit.
like.
Those mediums were quite worn out.
Now, where's that gonna put with Tricky?
Trickmobile.
Trickmobile, sorry. Looks like I'm still
Coming
gonna be
around.
out ahead. He's on the straight now.
Got older tires though.
So I'm coming out now. The Trickmobile behind. So it looks like about 2 minutes left in this race. So I gotta hurry it back if I even want to be able to start a fast lap. And these guys, Quasi's still cruising out in the lead. More fuel, more tires. It's looking pretty good for Quasi at this point.
See what you
as
can do here.
Racing visitor, just getting out of my way. I appreciate that.
It looks like you're gonna have one lap, one attempt to go for the fastest lap.
One shot.
Gotta keep it clean. Try not to get any more penalties.
That's even if I can make it to the line. It's 1 minute to go now.
I wonder who got the most penalties this race.
Yeah, that would be an interesting stat. It's Quasi and Big Blind on their last lap now, probably. For sure. Looks like I am going to get to start this lap. About 20 seconds to go. So here's my one fast lap attempt. Nice T1. Keeping it within the lines, no penalty there. So there goes the clock. So I'm going into sixth. That's usually I would only do that if I'm slipstreaming, but maybe with the low fuel I was able to increase that speed. Nicely, pretty clean through the bus stop. And that long right-hander, touching that outside curb, holding the inside on the gas early out of the corner. This one's can be a tricky one, actually. It's a
Looks
bit
like
unique.
our leaders are about to cross the line here.
It's easy to get done. So Quasi coming to the finish line for his 7th win of the season. Big Blind close behind, going for a little spin. That has to be frustrating for him.
Yeah, he started on pole too. I think that's
Yeah.
just frustration coming out. So now let's see.
I'm three
Purple.
tenths up.
Gotta keep it clean, get to the line.
There's a yellow flag, but of course I'm just gonna ignore that.
That was big
Come
blind
to the
doing fun
line,
up there, but
and there we go. 8 tenths up with a 44.8 to
it's a
boot.
great
Tricky,
lap.
or Trickmobile, sorry. Coming
Coming
home
home,
in fourth.
P4.
Guitar slammed, finish, and racing visitor. Well, all right, that was a pretty interesting race.
Yep. Great battle at the front. Um, and also some interesting battles in the midfield. I'd
Yeah,
say Trickmobile had a really good recovery race. And so did you, considering you started near the back or at the
yeah.
back. So,
I feel
yeah.
like if I was able to start a little bit closer, I think I could have been in that lead battle as well. I felt the pace in the M6 was better than expected, I think. And I always love running here. Watkins Glen is it's one of my favorite tracks. I'm really glad they added it in. This and Atlanta. I'm glad that they're showing the American track some love. You know, they're not
Yeah,
as
it's always fun.
internationally
I
recognized.
wasn't really familiar with this track too much before they added it to the game, but I've definitely become a big fan of it.
Oh yeah,
But yeah, great win for Quasi, his seventh of the season, and that's going to give him almost a 20-point lead now at the top of the standings. So definitely looking like he is closing in on the championship. One more week to go. We'll see what
absolutely.
happens.
Quick rundown of the results for round 12 here at Watkins Glen. Quasi takes it home for his 7th win of the season with a good points haul to boot. 34 points for Quasi. Big blind in second, starting on pole, but with running out of fuel midway through that race, he ended up second behind Quasi, but it was a good battle between those two. And he has a strong points haul from winning the sprint race, so 28 points for him as well. Myself in third, only 18 points. Getting last in that sprint race really hurt me there, and that might take me out of that championship battle. Trickmobile in fourth, actually with more points than myself because he finished third in the sprint race, started third. Guitar ended up fifth, Slammed ended up sixth, Racing Visitor ended up seventh, Crazy and Tricky both out, finishing eighth and ninth. And myself got the fast up at the end when I put the softs on with that 144.8. Now, Trick Potato did not complete more than 50% of the race, so he actually only got half points awarded for the main race. He still got points for the sprint race. All right, so now let's take a look at how the championship order has sorted itself out with one race remaining in the season. Quasi has extended that lead with 7 wins from 11 starts, 281 points. Big blind now, what is that, 18 points behind in second. Myself in third, even further behind, 13 points behind Big Blind, and unfortunately, I think that is, in fact, me out of that championship battle. So that's the battle continues between Quasi and Big Blind going into that last race. However, Big Blind will need to win. Quasi will need to finish, I think, below 5th or something for there to be a little bit of an upset there. Guitar is sitting in 4th right now, but Fet's not too far behind. If Fet's can just get that brake pedal fixed and actually finish a race, he could be taking 4th in this championship battle right here. And Slammed is not too far behind either. 142 points for Slammed, only 8 points behind Fet's, 10 points behind Guitar. There's a bit of a battle there between 4th, 5th, and 6th. With Trick Mobile now taking 7th. He moves up ahead of Tricky Potato. In 8th, Racing Visitor is now in 9th. He moves ahead of Izzy Boy, pushing Izzy Boy down to 10th. He hasn't shown up for multiple weeks now. Crazy in 11th, closing on Izzy as well. Craig in 12th, Mikey in 13th, Phoenix in 14th, and Temp in 15th. Now let's take a look at the nations and manufacturers. USA still on top, extending that lead to 746 points. Canada in second with 689. Norway in third with 150. And Australia in fourth with 63. Now Porsche still leading that way, 463 points out top. Nissan in second, 276. Then it's BMW in third with 202. Ford in 4th with 157, Toyota in 5th with 131, Audi in 6th with 68, Mercedes in 7th with 54, Subaru in 8th with 11, and Honda in 9th with 1. All right, with that being said, I want to thank everyone for watching this video. If you actually watch it to the end, much appreciated. If you do like these videos, please make sure to subscribe so you can see whenever I post these. If you're interested in joining our league, leave a comment below, and we can add you into our group, and you can race with us. So, all right, with that being said, thank you everyone, and I'll catch you guys next week.